This conference will now be recorded.
Two things, right, which I told you. Did you get a chance?
Uh, Sorry, you got cut off. What did you say?
No, I said I asked you to look into the two things yesterday, right? Did you get a
Yeah,
chance?
I looked into the pros and cons of external, internal, and inline style sheets, and
Mm-hmm.
I also found a few websites that we could recreate.
Okay.
And I
Can you
also,
can you share here?
yeah, 1 second. Um, okay, do you make me the presenter?
And I think you can share the your website URLs. Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. I'll give you the presenter. I'll give you the presenter. You can share your screen.
Oh,
Yeah, now you are the
okay.
presenter.
Yeah. So first one is this one. And then second, it's just a cafe and like it moves like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And very simple. Um, the next one is IKEA for furniture shop.
Okay.
And then next one is a random, like you can order food. Just I thought it could work.
Okay. Fine. I mean,
And
which one will go first?
this is my favorite one,
Okay.
but I don't know if it's possible to do like the
Okay,
animation.
can you share just I mean animation, we can check it out because what exactly they have used, we can check that. Okay, whether
Okay.
if they implemented any of the JavaScript frameworks like Angular or React, if they implemented, so we can try it out with jQuery plugins. Okay, or if
Okay.
something possible with pure JavaScript, we can check them. Okay,
Oh,
so just share
okay.
share share those links, in chat window
Okay.
one by one.
Yeah.
Three of them. If possible, we'll try to figure it out, three of them,
Yeah. I just wanted to
instead
do
of
like
picking
one
one.
easy one
Sorry, you just want to
normal.
do?
I want to do like one that looks easy, one that has more stuff to it, and then
Yeah, no,
medium.
that's what I'm saying. No, if possible, we'll get it done, like all of them. That is fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as many as if you're able to do that, right? So that you'll get some, more expertise on the subject. You get a confidence as usual,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah. No issues. We can take this. I think it will work. This menu and all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll try with that, no
Um.
issues.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
okay. So what other things that have you verified that what is the pros and cons related to the style sheet, the types of style sheet?
Yeah. Yeah. So after researching, I found that external sheets are better for like larger projects, and
Mm-hmm.
internal style sheets are better suited for small projects or like fewer pages. And
Mm-hmm.
inline is beneficial for like quickly changing element style or making it specific, or like if only one thing needs to be changed if it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And the pros and cons for internal, it's easy to change, and it's yeah, good for small projects. And but the bad thing is that uh, it can be hard to update, I think. Yeah, like it.
Okay,
And
fine.
for external, it's
Mm-hmm.
the benefits are you can sort of reuse it across websites. Like you don't have to
Yes.
keep repeating it. It's more organized because it's separate, so I guess it
Hmm.
doesn't clutter with everything else, and it can improve loading times. I saw like one place saying it improves loading times, but other place saying if it's not done correctly, it can take longer.
Okay, fine. Okay, one thing that I know I want to correct it, right? So it is not just
Mm-hmm.
based on the the scale of application. Okay, whether it is a
Uh-huh.
small application or larger application. So always the best thing to use is external only. So
Mm-hmm.
even I'm not going to suggest to write internal and inline as well. Okay.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, yeah. So sometimes we can have. So maybe you can ask a question. If the always if you go with that sorry, external, then what is the point to make internal and inline styles, right? So the very
Mm-hmm.
rarest case, I can say that in a very rare case that we can use that style, and very rarest case that we're going with that inline style. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that too, sometimes what is going to happen? So right now we are actually making everything from our side, right? So when you want to build an application, you can only create the HTML page and CSS page and everything. But when that actual JavaScript and jQuery or whatever the frameworks or libraries that we have, Angular or React. So whenever we are whenever we are including all of them to build a project, sometimes we gonna receive some dynamic content, dynamic HTML and CSS, okay, which is not part
Mm-hmm.
of your HTML. You try to understand this. So still you can see in the web browser, okay, some content you can see in the web browser, some content which is not part of the your actual HTML. So those are can be generated using those are can be generated. So whatever the JavaScript or jQuery libraries or frameworks that you are using. So in such a case, so there is a HTML content which is not part of your HTML code, your actual HTML code. But whenever you see in the inspect element, you can able to see the dynamic HTML. So dynamic HTML in the sense which is created by some third party plugin, not by you. Only
Mm-hmm.
those scenarios, okay, we may write internal. Okay, so this inline one is always like we can write to a specific scenario. So this is not it's a single only one property. Okay, make sure to understand this. Not even like more than one property. I'm not going to suggest you to write inline. So there is only one property which really works for that specific element, and for this property itself, we no need to create like one more class and all in the external sheet. In such a case, we'll go with the inline one only. That too, I'm not going to suggest you to write one more property here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you are writing inline, okay, there is no specific limit. Okay, let us say now I'm saving this document, and when it comes to page, now you can see the style is showing here, and the element dot style also has been added a background. And now itself, I can add something like what I can add here, like let us say that an entire font I'm changing here. So I'm applying a font to body element, so that whatever the content it comes under this body, right, everything become in Arial font only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if you want to update the font size of entire application should be same. If you think in that way, like let's say if you want to put the font size as 12 pixels. So now how many
Mm-hmm.
properties that we have added here? Three properties, right? One
Three.
is the background, second one is the font family, and third one is the font size. Whenever you are making all these changes, right, I don't suggest to write in everything here. For that, simply I can suggest you to write everything in the style.css only, external style.css only. Why the reason is, now you have only index.html. Okay, so if you
Mm-hmm.
maintain the same kind of structure, like how I have written here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the home page. You need to create a about us page. You need to create a like contact us page. You need to create other pages as well. So if you go with the same kind of approach, like in the same background color, same font family, and same font size as at 12 pixels, and when you release your application to client, and client comes at hey, that's I don't need this blue color. I want to add some other color, like a black color or blue color, or some maybe some lighter or darker in this color. So what you have to do? So you have to do the changes in all the HTML pages wherever you have written the style attribute to the body element, right?
Mm.
You're getting my point.
Yeah.
So that is very difficult, right? So if you have a like a 2 or 3 pages, that is fine. Still you can change the color. So how about like more than 10 pages? You have a 10 HTML pages and you've written same kind of style in everywhere, and when there is a certain requirement comes from the client to change the background color, or change the font family, or change the font size. It's not just for the one home page, right? You have to change for all the HTML pages. In such a case, if you have a list of 10 or 20 pages, how difficult it is for you to change the all these property values, right? Even
Mm.
though if you write inline and internal as well, the same issue will come.
Mm.
You're getting my point?
Yeah.
Or still you have like any question?
Mm. It's unrelated, but is index.html just one page?
Yeah,
Or
index.html is one page, but the website should not end with one page. That website has many pages, right? If you share
yeah,
me, you have shared me few links, right? If you see when I click on the menu, I can see like in a home menu, contact and story. All these are all
yeah,
pages only, right?
yeah.
And there are 4 pages right now here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if you keep, if you're applying the background style, or if you're applying the properties in the inline or internal or inline, right? In the same
Mm.
way only you have to keep in other HTML pages as well, right? To apply some background colors and all. Otherwise, it is not something that automatically applies. Every HTML will be executed as an individual HTML file only. So if you apply uh, all these properties in index.html, the scope of these properties will be in index.html only. It is not going to pass to about.html or contact.html or something other pages, right? The scope of this
Mm.
inline or internal will be applicable to only index.html. Let us say now I have a one more page here. Okay, let me create one more page here. Okay, like
Mm.
about.html. Okay, if I open the about.html in the browser, now instead of that index.index, I'm going to change about.html. If you see, there is no background color here, right? Why? Because we have applied background color to a body which is in index.html only. And in
Yeah.
fact, there is no HTML elements in the about.html. Even though if you place the elements, there is no such a property, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to add, I'm going to copy this body and I'm going to paste here. Okay, then only you can see the background color in about.html, because in about.html page for body element I have added this.
Mm.
Okay, now instead of this blue, right? So let me change to something else. Save and reload. And if you
Mm.
see index.html now, this is index.html background color, and this is about.html background color. The color, you can see a clear difference, right, between the background colors, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now the simple logic and simple funda is we are not supposed to give a different background colors to different page. As per the standards of website, if you observe any of the website, whatever website that you have shared with me, do you see any different
Yeah.
color with different pages? No, right?
No. No.
So that is a bad user experience, right? Because user
Yeah.
thinks that user has in he thinks that where am I exactly? So I have opened some www.somexyz.com, and when I click the about us page, it is taking me to that another page and another user interface. Am I in the same website or not? Right.
Yeah.
So we cannot make it like this. So in such a case, if you just copy the properties and if you apply the same approach, like if you apply the properties, style properties in the same way, how you have integrated in index.html and about.html. So there is no issue as long as now index.html and about.html. Let me reload this. Okay, color didn't change it. Okay, let me. Yeah. Now both are same colors, right? Index.html, about.html, right?
Yeah.
So now you may have, let's say, assume that you may have two or three more HTML pages, and you are applied in the same way, like the same way inline styles you have written. And when you hosted this website, and there is a clear feedback from the client, I don't like this blue color. Can you apply any other color apart from this blue color? So now, do you think that if you change the color in only on index.html, will that be work for other pages as well?
No.
No, so you have to change manually in each and every HTML page, right?
Yeah.
So do you think it is easy process?
No.
Yeah. So that is the reason that even though if you make all these changes in the internal style sheet as well, you have to keep that you have to maintain the same kind of style elements and write the same properties in the same way in index.html or about.html, right?
Mm.
So that is the reason that I'm not going to suggest internal and inline. There is very rare cases that maybe if we get that conditions in during our class, we'll focus on that in what conditions that we can apply inline style or internal style.
Mm.
Okay, so now what
Okay.
I'm going to do here, I'm going to remove this in index.html, and I'm going to remove this as well, and in about.html also I'm going to remove, and I'm going to uncomment this link. Okay, so I'm
Mm.
saving all of them, index about style.css. Now, when you see index.html, so we have it is coming the background color. If you see there is no inline style, but still the color is coming. Why? Because we have applied the CSS. We have linking. We have given link of the style.css file to HTML file, right?
Yeah.
And you can confirm the same thing here whenever you hover on the body element. So the left side area, when you see the inspect element, the left side area will be for HTML elements, and when you see the right side, it is purely related to styles. And if you see, whenever you hover on body, if you see that for a body element, there is a property called background color and the value. And from where it is coming from style.css, and what is meaning of this one is it is coming from the line number 1.
Mm.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Any question?
Uh, could I just see the CSS page again?
Oh, sorry, come again.
Could I see the CSS page?
Yes, you can see. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you just click on this also, you will get the entire style.css file.
Okay.
Okay, you can see entire
Yeah.
CSS file, or else you can just check the view page source, and you will get that entire source. From here also you can check the style.css.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and anyhow that link is not something created. You only given that link, right?
Yeah.
And you created the style.css and you place it in CSS folder, and you have written background color for a body element,
Mm-hmm.
right? Make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now
So
when you,
another
yeah,
question.
please. Yes.
Um, so for text, there's usually different sizes and different fonts for a website, right?
Yes.
So for CSS, is it done like heading one is a set font
Mm-hmm.
and like heading six is a different one?
Yes. Okay, I understood your
Okay.
question. Like, for
Yeah.
websites, like we may have a different styles of text, right? The
Yeah.
text is
Yeah.
not like same. Even though the reference websites that you provide me, if you see this, so the text is different from here and here. And when you
Yeah.
see that menu, that is different. And when we see other websites, if you see the text font and the color is different from here, and here it is different, and here it is different, right?
Yeah.
So how can we manage all of them, right? That is your question.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll come to that point. Okay,
Okay.
so now it is index.html. Okay, and now if I
Hmm.
click that about.html, so there is no background color, and why we are not getting any background color? If you see about.html,
It's
there is
it's
no
not
external,
connected.
there is no internal, and there is no inline,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So in order to apply the style.css to about.html, how can we write that?
You have to link it.
Yes. So whatever it is we have, right? So I'm just copying this and I'm pasting here. And this
Mm.
is gonna be a about.html, and the title I'm going to change is about. And I'm
Mm.
saving this now. And now you can see same background color for index and about.html, both of them.
Mm.
Right. Now
Yep.
if you want to change the background color of website, you simply go for style.css, and now you can change here itself. You change, save it, and come back to the browser and reload this page. Now about.html and index.html both are same,
Yeah.
right? So this is the
Mm.
main use of maintaining the external style sheet.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now what we can do is, first let us when you provide a page, right? Okay. So first let us build this page. Okay, straight away.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, are you ready?
Should I
We
get?
we
I don't.
gonna,
Okay.
yeah. Tell me.
Do I follow along?
No, no, no. You don't. You just focus
Okay.
on it. The session is recording, right? So you can watch
Yeah.
the session later. But make sure to check that how I am taking the properties from this website. Okay. So
Okay.
when you gave me this reference, usually we can see a lot of websites. So we need to build a website like this. So in terms of the procedure, in order to make same kind of user interface, what we can take from this website? Because when we are making a replica, right,
Mm.
we should know it that what exactly the colors and the patterns that they have been used. Otherwise, there is no point, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll go one by one. Okay, first
Mm.
we'll check. If you see, this is the header part,
Mm. It's
right?
fixed. Yeah.
Yes, this is fixed. And when you see, this is the actual footer part,
Mm.
this one. Okay. And when you see this one, this is related to some what we call that, cookie settings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and this is also a fixed one. Okay. And whenever
Yeah.
you click OK button, or when you click this close button, automatically this is gonna be closed.
Mm.
Okay, so we'll
Okay.
focus on this also. I'm not actually going to click on OK button, either this close button. Let it be like that. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let us now build the background color to it first. Okay.
Okay.
And how to find a background color of this website? So the
Inspect.
same way, inspect element and scroll up and come to body first.
Uh,
Come to body first. And this is not actually a rule that always the way how we gave that background color to body, No, there is no
Mm.
rule that everybody should follow the same kind of structure.
Mm.
It's up to them. So now if you see the body element, they did not write any background color here. See,
Mm. Yeah.
right? Then in that case, where this background color is really coming? So now if you see, there is no script tags, and when you see the div ID is root, and let us see we have this background color or not. At least for this, no, don't see anything for root also. And when it comes to this, now you can see there
Same.
is a one color here,
Yeah.
background color, but this is something related to black color only,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now see
Yeah.
how they have written the classes under. Now it is the inline style they have used. Okay.
Mm.
I'm pretty much sure this website is not actually built in a regular format. So if I hope you have heard that we have like a Joomla or WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all this. Have you ever heard that WordPress?
No.
Okay,
Actually, yes.
so
WordPress, not Joomla.
yeah, okay. So all this is, they will provide a template to us right away, and with
Yeah.
everything is a functionally. Okay, so simply we need to purchase either free or premium templates, and we need to install all the plugins. Okay, that is not
Mm.
something we no need to write any code and all. Okay, that is all
That,
predefined. We just need to do
yeah.
the customization. So that is the
Yeah. I
reason
have.
only if you see all of them, see at the end only you can see the background color like this. This is actual
Yeah.
background color. Okay, and maybe they have
Mm.
written somewhere as well. Okay, so we can easily verify the code structure how they have written. Whenever you see that the styles and all right like this, definitely it is not a
Yeah.
just man-based writing code structure and all. It is something like a
Uh-huh.
generated. Okay,
Yeah.
so for me, actually, while I'm explaining, it took some time for me to, find that, where the exact background color element bean is written. Okay,
Mhm.
but for you, like, who doesn't have any, expertise in the code standard and all, you never know, or it may take a lot of time for you to identify what exactly background color they have written here. In
Yeah.
such a cases, you no need to find where exactly they have written background color and all. Okay, in simple terms, even though if you select that body tag here also, okay,
Mm-hmm.
simply what you can do, you will get a element dot style. Okay, so
Mm.
for any of the element, you can select, okay, and just write color or background color, whatever it is. Okay, you
Mm.
can apply just a background and you can give some black color to it. This is how actually this is how I used to get the color properties and all. Because I
Mm.
really see end of the day what I need. So I need this background color. I'm really not care about that, how their code they have written, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So we are really not care about it, why how they have written and why they have written the code format like this. What we need is like to grab that exact background color, nothing else. So what I'll do, I'll find any of the element, I'll select and I can apply some background black color straight away. Then what I'll do, I'll just click on this and I'll come to this and I'll pick this one, this eyedropper,
Yeah.
and this eyedropper will give me the actual color. And whenever I just hover on this and when I click on this, it is going to give me actual color.
Mm.
I no need to find scroll and where they have written the background color and what is the background color. All this I don't need to do.
Uh,
Right? You're getting my point.
yeah. Yeah.
So this is how usually I will do. So not background color. Even sometimes I'll go with the color as well. because where these two properties only immediately will give a color options.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I'll get this color straight away, and I'll copy from here. And what I'll do, I'll check this background color, and I'm going to paste here, and I'll check how the color is for me.
Yeah. Same.
You're following?
Yeah.
Okay, so now if immediately if reload this automatically, it will this property and all will be gone, because I have added in the temporary purpose in the developer tools only. I have added. I didn't add it in the code. So if
Mm-hmm.
I feel okay, this is fine, the same color only I got. So now what I'll do, I'll copy this and I'll go back to my code style.css, and here I'll add that and come
Mm.
back to this place, this page, and I'll reload this.
Mm.
So yeah, this is the best way to crop the colors, fonts, and all. Probably by most of the time we'll get the colors in the same way.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a few extensions where Chrome browser also allows you to do the some color palettes and all. You can try with those as well. But this is the best
Mm-hmm.
option to get the colors and all.
Mm.
Okay, so now when it comes to this, okay, so now you can see there is a header part here, right? In
Yeah.
this header part, what you can see the left side area, and you can see center area, and you can see some right side of area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I want to, if you look at any of the website, I told you, I think I don't remember the first or second day I told you, when you see the website, first of all you have to divide the website into multiple chunks. I mean multiple parts. As I told you,
Mm-hmm.
like this is the header part, okay, and this is that actual content part, and this is the footer, and in this content we have a two boxes divided. In one box we have a text, sorry, image. In another box we have a heading, we have one more box, and we have a one more box,
Mm.
right? So in the same
Yeah.
way only you have to divide all the websites, whatever the websites that you are seeing. So first of all you have to divide them in your mind. Okay, so then only you will get, like, one by one,
Mm-hmm.
the way how, in the same way, while you are creating the UX as well, right? So this is
Yeah.
how, when you create that, like, what you call that, in the grid
Art.
system, let us say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, the same way only you'll have, like, header, footer, and there's a content area, like, two grid, three grid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in the same way only we have to divide that. But we don't need to explain to anybody that you are dividing them into multiple parts. But this is how you should start thinking while making anything. Okay, and when you
Okay.
see
Yeah.
this is the header part. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to build the header part. So header part, I'm saying that that is a technical word, but when it comes to HTML, like, which element we need to keep here to make this kind of boxes. Okay, so that is a very
Mm.
important thing to understand. Okay, so majority of the cases we're going to you are going to use div element, because that is only the element where we can use repetitively in the application, where it's supposed to create a divisions or blocks or boxes, whatever it is. Okay, if you have some
Mm-hmm.
box, then only you will get it. You will place the content, right? Now let us look into this website. Okay, what it has, let's assume that this is the web page. Okay, and immediately if you see, this is the header part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the footer part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you see the middle content, you have one image, and the other side you have a box, In the box you may have a lot of things here. If you see upside, there is a one heading, then after there is a one small box, and then after there is a one more box where it contains one image, button, text, and all.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can draw this center layout in a multiple parts. Okay, for let's say example of this is for title. Okay, and next there is a one more box, right? And if you see there
Mm-hmm.
is a one more box. So you mean you no need to draw like this, but whenever you start work on all, right? So all this has to be there in your mind, and this box has been divided as a two parts, right? One is for a image, and second one is for a text,
Yeah. And button.
right? Again, if you look at
Mm-hmm.
this, obviously there is a button here, the text and button, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These borders and all for for understanding purpose I have made, but in web application we don't need to make the borders, right? So if you look at, there is no border here, right? This is just a placeholder. You just consider all of them as a placeholder. For all this placeholder you can apply borders if you want. You can apply background color if you want. That is of course based on the requirement, but try to understand these are all the blocks, or these are all the boxes, or these are all the placeholders, whatnot. Once you have this layout, then only you can put a content inside it, inside these boxes. Whether you are keeping borders or whether you are applying the background colors and all is a different story, but you need a placeholder to put something.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you divided the web page like this, then you don't need to worry about it, because now you have a placeholders. The only pending part is you can simply put the content inside this placeholder or boxes.
Mm.
You're following, Darshana? This is very very important topic. As long as if you don't understand this subject, then there is no
Mm-hmm.
point to, as long as if the days will be gone, but you won't get anything. But if you understand the structure and this concept, then only you will get the actual subject.
Yeah, I understand. It's very similar to UX design, like what I've learned.
Yeah, fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create div here. So this first div I'm going to keep for header, and this is the second div I'm going to keep for this body area. This one, sorry,
Mm.
this body area. And third div I'm going to put for what? Footer.
For footer. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll come to this point later. Or
Mm.
else, why don't we wait? We can create one more div. This is for what? For this cookie settings.
Mm.
Okay, for better understanding, for initial time, what you can do, you can simply write your code. You can add a comments here, header code, and
How
copy
do you add
this. Sorry.
how do you add comments?
Okay, so the comment is very simple. No, same way, less than and shift to one, and when you added two icons.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So this is the header code, and so this is gonna be like a content, and this is gonna be a footer, and this is gonna be a what?
Cookies.
Cookies related code. Right? You just placed
Mm.
four divs here, nothing else.
Mm.
Excuse me. So you won't get any output in the website, in the browser, because you just created the divs and there is no content on it.
Yeah.
You can't see actual output, but if you know it, there is a divs here. Okay, first of all, we have written everything in about HTML. Let me cut them and let me paste in. Save it now. Now you won't see any output, but you know that you have written all the HTML elements for each and every section, header, content, footer, and cookie settings, right? How would
Mm-hmm.
you know? Because you have only written them, and whenever you just click on them, see now you can see that there is elements, okay, but there is no CSS properties being added to any of these tips, right?
Yeah.
Now what I'm going to do is how I have written a property background color to a body element in the same way only. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a div. Okay, so what I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to write here, background color again black. And now if you
Mm.
see the browser, you can see what background color, but you don't
Yeah.
see a background color here, okay, because the background color been applied, but there is you did not mention that what is the dimension of that width and height.
Mm.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add width as 100% and height 100 pixels. Now going back to this index.html and reload this page. Now you can see enter a black object here, right? Black box you,
Mm-hmm.
you can see now, right? But it is
Yeah.
not a one straight away one single box, single black box. How many elements
Okay.
that we have placed?
4.
Four, right? Now you
Mm-hmm.
can inspect one by one. If you see, this is the header one, and this is the content one, and this is the footer one. If you see here,
Mm-hmm.
and this last one is the
Cookies.
cookies one. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
now if you observe the CSS code, right, I have added a div, and when you hover on this div, what it is showing at the top, it is showing a div element, and if you hover on body also, it shows the same. So what it means exactly, if you want to change any HTML element, if you want to apply CSS properties to any HTML element, straight away you have to write the element first, and you can write properties. I just gave a reference as element. It can be anything. It can be div, it can be body, it can be h1 tag, it can be paragraph tag, anything.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But
So if let's say example, if you write h1 and if you apply something here, like let us say example, font to size 40 pixels, what is going to happen, okay, in the wherever the HTML elements h1 is presenting in the index.html file, okay, all the
mhm.
h1 text font size will be 40 pixels only,
Okay.
wherever it is. Okay, let us
Mm.
try that. For that, let me place some h1s here. This is the heading 1. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to make three h1s here. Okay,
Uh-huh.
now let me reload this page. Now you can see,
Mm-hmm. It's a
right?
yeah.
Now if you change h1 from 40 to 30 and save it, this is the actual size actually. Okay,
Oh.
now you can see the same. So what it means, when you write in CSS, before applying any properties, if you place element here, can be, I told you, it can be anything, right? It can be div, body, h1, paragraphs, all the HTML elements you can make it here.
Mm.
So what it means, wherever you are using this h1 element in the index.html, so the properties will be same. Now, if you give instead of h1, if you give h2, now see it. There is a difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, for a better differentiation, what we can do now, we can add the color here for h1. Mm, why the orange color is been only applied to h1? Because we have written in the same way. So we have added the properties to h1 element only. That means wherever the h1 and how many times h1 element is going to repeat for every place, okay, for every h1 element, by default, these properties will be applied.
Mm.
But we have written h2 also here,
Yeah.
right? But I want a different color of, I want to see h2 also same size, but different color I need. Then how you gonna write?
Uh, H2.
Yes, the
The.
same way, you just no need to do the brainstorm for this. Simply copy this and instead of H1, make it H2. And instead of orange, you can add any color to it. Brown. Save it and check now.
Mm.
And if you see both font size are same here because the font size we gave for both of them is same,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
But there is a one case which is very important. There is a one case where I want to use a H1 only, but I don't want these properties.
Mm. That's when you do inline?
Sorry, that come again your
Is
question?
that is that when you change it to inline?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. Then if I use the inline, then I'm only myself breaking the statement which I gave previously, right? I
Yeah.
myself is not going to suggest to write inline. Then what is the point if I write again style?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have a another concept of uh, classes.
Mm.
Okay, so these
Mm-hmm.
are all selectors. If you see h1, h2, div, body, these are all the selectors. What is meant by selectors in the sense, if you write body div h1, h2, this is holding an element. If I write like this, what these properties are going to hold? This h1 element. And what if you see that div here, right? So we are holding div element here. So we are selecting div element. Now
Mm.
the same case as I told you, I have a one more h1. Okay, you understood so far, right? So I'm going to remove this.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to remove h2 as well in the CSS file. Now I'm keeping only one h1, and when you see the output, you can see two H1s has the same style, but I want to change the second one. I don't want to use any inline style or internal style to make something some other style to for the second H1.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I'm going to do is I'm going to create one class for it. How I'm going to write a class for it? The class name can be anything, and it should start with a dot. And what I'm going to write is heading. The naming convention is still our choice, whatever the naming convention that we can give. But the same rule is, better to write all of them in the lower case, and there is no spaces between the two words. If you want to make it two words, like let us say example, you want to use that heading one. Okay, so you can
Mm-hmm.
do like this heading hyphen one, or you can do something like this heading underscore one,
Mm.
and you can apply the same properties like this. There is no difference in the properties. Still you can change the color what you have created is class. So if you see that element dot class, how you gonna apply? So you have to write a class attribute to the element, and this is how you have to write. I'm just copying here, and wherever it is required, I want to see the second h1. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can simply copy this and paste it. Otherwise, if you want me to explain, you have to write class attribute,
Mm.
and whatever the class name that you created here is, you can ignore
Oh,
the dot. After dot, whatever you have written, just copy that and place here, and now save it and come back to browser, and now you can see another h1 with a
mm.
different style.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay,
Mm.
and there is a one more thing. You have a one more h1 here. You want to see another h1, another style of h1 here, but I suggest you to not to write one more class for it,
Why?
because I have other option other option as well. Okay, I'll tell you. So now this is what element selector. Okay, remember this.
Mm.
This is element selector where we can change the style of elements. This is class selector. We can create a class and we can apply to elements. Now I am going to tell you, and which is important thing is ID selector. So we have to write hash first, then the naming convention same. What I'm going to do here is heading hyphen 3. I'm going to write like this. Now the properties are same. I'm going to change the color to blue. How I gonna apply the ID to h1 is, let me close this first. In the same way how I have applied the class h1 space ID equal to heading is heading hyphen 3, and let's save this.
Mm.
Clear? These are the basic selectors that we are going to use in our application.
Mm. So you
Element
can't have.
selector, class
Mm.
selector, ID selector.
Mm. So you
You
can't
got
have
it?
two dot headings.
Sorry, come again.
So you can't have like uh two, like a dot heading one and then a dot heading two.
Yes, yes, you can. Yeah, yeah, you can. But I told you one thing, before I start explaining that ID one, I told you that,
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to suggest you write one more class. I'm not going to
Yeah.
suggest you to create one more class. Then still there is another option that we have, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes, still you can do the heading. No, you can write heading two also. It's not a crime. I mean, that you can do. But we are not supposed to use as long as always this ID. ID is like, always it is gonna be a unique one. Okay, so I'm trying to say that, in CSS supports ID based selector as well, but majority of the cases this ID selector we are going to use in mostly in JavaScript only, because whenever you want to modify an element, okay, and you can first uh, hold that element, or you can first select that element. The selection of element, more majority of the cases in JavaScript, we are going to do with the ID only,
Okay.
because IDs are always unique, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in simple terms, what is the difference between I mean, class selector and ID selector? The question you may get from anybody, or if you go, or if you go for interview, you may get that, what is the difference between that, class selector and ID selector. So class selector we can use multiple places in the web page. So the same heading one I can use multiple places. But as per the standard, I'm not supposed to use the same ID to another element because functionality it is wrong. Because ID should be unique. So when I applied ID to an element, it should be unique. It should not be like a multiple. The same answer you can tell them. Okay, in simple terms, I can say like the class can be your school uniform. Okay, everybody can have it, right?
Yeah.
But where the ID is your roll number, that is always
Mm.
unique. No other one can have your ID, right?
Yeah.
So you can create ID in CSS and you can use in HTML, but only one time. Maybe you may ask me like, okay, so if I use if I use the same and if I uh, put one more ID, what is going to happen? Still it works. Still it works because we are using this ID from CSS point of view. But when it comes to JavaScript, this is technically it is wrong.
Mm.
Okay, so that is the reason that always most of the time people will use that classes only for IDs. They will use to select the elements and all when we are working with the JavaScript.
Mm.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So now what we are going to do tomorrow. So I'm going to remove this. Okay. So now we have multiple divs 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a. I'm going to remove this as well. We have a div only, but we don't want all the divs should have the same background color, right?
Yeah.
The first div can be in a different way, and next div can be different way, different height and different background it may have, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we actually following this one. We
Mm-hmm.
took this as a reference, and we are trying to replicate the same thing, right?
Yeah.
For a temporary purpose, we have added a properties for a div element. So as I told you, whenever you add a properties to specific element, wherever the element is repeating in the HTML, the properties will be applicable for all the elements. So you have added properties to div element here. Wherever you add a div in the HTML, all the div style will be same as these properties. But we don't want that.
Uh-huh.
We want for teach and divs video we need a different styles. So for that what we are going to do is we are going to create a multiple classes for header, for content, for footer, for cookies, for all of them we are going to create multiple classes tomorrow to replicate our web page.
Okay.
Clear? Or if you want to try, you can try from your side. You can take this recorded session and you can create a classes like header. You can create a class, and
Mm.
footer you can create a class. After creating class you can apply different background color to it, and the same way you can copy this and you can apply to this div class equal to header or something. You can try that if you want,
Okay. Yeah.
but this is going to be really interesting stuff as long as you practice them.
Yeah. It's actually very similar to Figma. Like elements, or sorry, class is very similar to variables. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same as
overlap.
we are going to use the same kind of variables in CSS as well, but not actual regular CSS. That is we're going to call as preprocessor CSS preprocessor. There we can have
Uh-huh.
like all the variables and all.
Yeah, yeah, and like components in Figma similar to the style sheet.
Okay, great that glad
Yeah.
that you already know it, so that it will be easy for you. But the only thing is you should focus and you should practice it.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, chalo then.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Bye.